with anything but his hand or his feet.
And he came right down on his head. Yeah.
Home of the most feared men on the planet, the NFL houses some of the most aggressive and gifted athletes in the world.
One-handed catch. How in the world?
Oh, my goodness.
Creating millionaires overnight, producing some of the nation's most revered icons. Only 25,000 men have had the honor of playing in the National Football League. But amid the game-winning touchdowns and bone-crunching hits, players emerged that would do nothing but tarnish the NFL's legacy.
The 40-year-old Phillips, he was a star running back at Nebraska, jailed after beating up his girlfriend and then driving his car into a group of kids.
What was the best running back you ever faced?
Oh, my goodness. I still say it to this day. It was Lawrence Phillips.
Former NFL running back Lawrence Phillips is suspected in the killing of his cellmate.
A former NFL player is set to go on trial tomorrow in Orange County on charges he killed his lover's wealthy boyfriend for money.
55-year-old boyfriend of Naposki's former lover, Nanette Johnston. It comes more than 16 years after a millionaire was shot to death in his Newport Beach home.
Tonight, football player Henry Ruggs III wheeled into court to face justice. The wide receiver fired from the Las Vegas Raiders, charged with multiple felony counts, including a DUI in the fatal another vehicle, killing a woman and her pet.
It was the Charlotte crime that gripped the nation. The pregnant former girlfriend of then Carolina Panther Rae Carruth shot.
Rae Carruth is one of the biggest stars in football until his pregnant girlfriend is shot, and the cops flag the wide receiver as their prime suspect.
Where did you do it?
He was apprehended the next day.
Fire department, what's the address of your emergency?
Yeah, this is 3006 Avenue, Delano, California. This is Kern Valley State Prison.
Hey, where is the patient located there?
He's still in the yard. He has attempted suicide right now. We don't know how bad it is.
Great job of finding the open field, and he may be gone. It's a foot race, and Lawrence Phillips will score 80 yards.
When legendary head coach Nick Saban was asked who were the two greatest running backs he had ever seen, he answered, Eric Dickerson and Lawrence Phillips.
Phillips has run for 1,672 yards.
Phillips bursted onto the scene during his freshman year at Nebraska during the 1993 Orange Bowl, rushing for 64 yards in the fourth quarter. However, his real opportunity would come during his sophomore year after a series of injuries to Nebraska's key starters, setting the stage for his ascension. Phillips would run for 100 yards in 11 consecutive games, rushing for over 1,800 yards by the end of the season, leading Nebraska to an undefeated season.
Muhammad Holbein and Walsh if Penn State wins tomorrow for national championship voting. Lawrence Phillips breaking tackle to the 20.
But a mere 2 weeks after Phillips lifted the Orange Bowl trophy overhead, a sinister side from the young playmaker would begin to emerge. Just 2 weeks after the 1994 championship, Phillips was charged with assault, disturbing the peace, and 2 counts of vandalism stemming from an incident that occurred back in March. At a blocked intersection, Phillips got into an altercation with a 21-year-old college student, culminating in Phillips grabbing the man around the neck and slamming him to the ground. But this was only the beginning.
This is Phillips. That's what he can do. Showtime for Lawrence Phillips. And another face mask at the 32-yard line. They're paying him. The snap goes to Phillips. They got all kinds of tricks. And these tricks aren't for kids because Phillips is going to score. Touchdown, Cornhuskers.
Hours after returning from their game against Michigan State, Phillips would break into backup quarterback Scott Frost's apartment. Phillips' ex-girlfriend, Kate McEwen, was in Frost's apartment when she was dragged by Phillips out of the apartment and down 3 flights of stairs, smashing her head into a mailbox. Phillips was arrested and suspended by the team for 6 games, a decision that drew much controversy, with many calling for Phillips to be kicked off the team.
Heisman Trophy candidate Lawrence Phillips has been thrown off the team for allegedly assaulting a woman Sunday morning.
I'm working on anger problems and going to counseling and stuff to get that situated. And I'm sorry that that incident had to take place. And hopefully something like that will never have to happen again.
Well, after all the buildup, the time has come. Nebraska and Florida about to take the field at the Fiesta Bowl to decide the national championship.
Upon Phillips' return, he was named the starter in the Fiesta Bowl, where he would rush for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns, adding 1 touchdown through the air.
Lawrence Phillips scores the game's opening touchdown.
He's the best player in the draft. Just watch him here in his quickness and his cutting ability. In the ball game against Florida, gets the football. Now watch his head. His head is on a swivel. He's got a feel in the hole for the defenders.
Entering the NFL draft, many question marks loomed over Lawrence Phillips. While his play on the field was sensational,
Phillips breaking one.
His off-the-field issues caused many to think twice about drafting the Nebraska standout.
That guarantees you almost 9 wins today, Joe. This is not the only running back in this draft. No, but he's considered the best. Well, he's considered. Are you evaluating him in totality? Yes. Now, if he would have had a major reconstructive knee surgery, we would have factored that in. But that's physical. Okay. Well, I'm looking at the physical aspect of it. I mean, the mental aspect, I believe, is behind him.
But Dick Vermeil and the St. Louis Rams saw enough talent and potential to take him in the first round.
6th pick in the first round obtained from the Redskins. The St. Louis Rams select Lawrence Phillips, running back.
The Rams believed in Phillips so much, they traded away their starting running back, Jerome Bettis, to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the demons that haunted Phillips' tenure at Nebraska followed him to St. Louis.
Phillips was charged with assault of his ex-girlfriend and trespassing. He was suspended for 6 games
for allegedly assaulting a woman Sunday morning.
And in less than 2 years with the Rams, Phillips was arrested 3 times and spent 23 days in jail, culminating in his release. Phillips would land with the Miami Dolphins, but would last for only 2 games after assaulting a woman in a Florida nightclub. Phillips then played with the Barcelona Dragons in NFL Europe, where he set records, running for over 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns, drawing interest from NFL teams.
Rush throws it between that time. Eyes closed, maybe out cold.
While off-the-field issues had plagued Phillips' tenure in the NFL, now it was his work ethic and on-field play that caused concern. Phillips had failed to pick up the block, and this hit would end Young's career in the NFL. A lapse in work ethic is what the 49ers saw with Phillips not picking up the block. In fact, He was never in the game on passing downs for that very reason.
Ended in nightmare fashion.
The 49ers would soon waive Phillips for his lapse in work ethic, being a nightmare at practice and openly mocking his coaches. His time in the NFL was over. Phillips would have a brief stint in the Arena Football League, released after leaving the team without notifying the coach. He would then play in the Canadian Football League, where he would have a career revival, rushing for over 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns, but would be released the following season after being charged with sexual assault.
With Phillips, I really believe that this is the perfect spot for Lawrence Phillips, and I still believe that this is the kid that's we're going to be talking about a year from now as being a sensation in the National Football League.
Phillips played for the Rams, the Dolphins, and the 49ers. He was convicted of choking his girlfriend in a separate incident, drove his car into 3 teenagers.
Jailed after beating up his girlfriend and then driving his car into a group of kids in 2005. So much potential, so much talent wasted with Lawrence Phillips.
Phillips was sentenced to 10 years in prison for his assault on the 3 teenage boys. However, new allegations would emerge for a series of domestic abuse charges against his former girlfriend. In 2 such incidents, he choked her until she fell unconscious. In 2009, Phillips was sentenced to 25 years in prison for a total of 31 years. I feel myself very close to snapping. My anger grows daily as I have become fed up with prison. I feel my anger is near bursting, and that will result in my death or the death of someone else. On April 12, 2015, Phillips' cellmate was found dead, choked to death, and there was only one suspect. With abrasions found on Phillips' forearm and being the only other man in the cell, he was charged with the first-degree murder of his cellmate. Awaiting trial for the murder of Soward, Phillips took his own life.
Because Phillips is going to score, and he went right to the end zone in the express lane.
Phillips' brain was donated to be examined for CTE. He was buried at Inglewood Park Cemetery in California.
A gated community, a glamorous setting where the wealthy residents could feel safe. But it was not safe for one millionaire, murdered in his waterfront house.
Detective Tom Voth arrived to find a millionaire entrepreneur dead on his own kitchen floor.
Prosecutors say a notorious Orange County murder was the result of a deadly love triangle.
A former NFL player is set to go on trial tomorrow in Orange County on charges he killed his lover's wealthy boyfriend for money.
They're looking at me for a reason. You know, not just because I'm a big tough boyfriend, because that doesn't give me motive to do anything wrong. Am I a jealous guy to do something like that?
Eric Naposki.
Eric Naposki. Eric Naposki.
Eric Naposki.
Eric Naposki.
Former football player, first-degree murderer.
It comes more than 16 years after a millionaire was shot to death in his Newport Beach home.
Some kind of miracle. And Ruby just puts it up for grabs. We're at 0, and it falls incomplete. And now the celebrations will begin. Jack Bicknell.
Amid Eric Naposki's finest moment, winning the World Bowl in NFL Europe, he stood amidst accusation and controversy. for the brutal murder of millionaire entrepreneur Bill McLaughlin.
In the murder trial of a former NFL linebacker, Eric Naposki, he is accused of killing a former girlfriend's millionaire husband.
The first time I tackled someone, I could only describe it as the best feeling I had ever felt. That was it. I knew I had found my calling. From a young age, Naposki knew football was his calling. Leading his high school team in tackles and sacks, year in and year out, leading to a full-ride football scholarship to UConn, and was signed as an undrafted rookie in 1988 to the New England Patriots. The lifelong dream of entering the NFL had become a reality. Still, Naposki would struggle to find his footing in the NFL, bouncing around a variety of teams before ultimately becoming a free agent, once again searching for his next opportunity.
Four wide receivers, they'll run Jones. He's Barcelona has it. You are looking live at Stadio Olimpico in Barcelona, Spain.
Naposki had found his home in Barcelona, playing for the Dragons of NFL Europe, where he played exceptionally well, but a couple of nagging injuries would ultimately sideline his career.
Number 91 really decked Kerwin Bell that time. He got the ball off, but he paid the price.
Naposki returned to California, where he would meet a woman who would alter his life forever.
Football player Eric Naposki, it comes more than 16 years after a millionaire was shot to death in his Newport Beach home.
Naposki was convinced that he had found the love of his life. But there was only one problem. Naposki was not the only man in the Nets' life. She had met a wealthy entrepreneur through an ad that stated, "Wealthy men only. You take care of me, and I'll take care of you." And the sinister plan would soon begin to take shape. On the night of December 15th, 1994, a man entered McLaughlin's home and fired 6 rounds, killing him instantly. His body would be found in a pool of blood by his own son. Almost as soon as the investigation began into the murder of McLaughlin, Eric Naposki became a person of interest.
This was no way, shape, or form just a platonic relationship. They had a sexual relationship. He should. Absolutely positive. Absolutely positive. No, Nanette probably hasn't told you that.
Well, she probably hasn't. Exactly. You know what? She has never. So, okay, so now that we all know the deal, how does this relate to the crime? You tell me.
It could.
In what sense?
Did you find out about it?
Oh, you mean, did I find out about it and then go, oh no, there's no way in the world. They're looking at me for a reason. You know, not just because I'm a big tough boyfriend, because that doesn't give me motive to do anything wrong. Even if, like, I found out, you know, some way that this was going on, am I a jealous guy to do something like that?
A frequent visitor of Nanetta's, police soon began to piece together the love triangle that was at play. Finding McLaughlin's license plate number in Naposki's notebook, and Naposki claiming to have a firearm that would match the casings found at the crime scene, but could not produce it when asked. But the police failed to gather adequate evidence to bring in Naposki. However, He was not the only one suspected of wrongdoing. Nanette Johnston, the woman at the center of this love triangle, was arrested in 1996 for grand theft, stealing approximately $500,000 from McLaughlin during their time together, $250,000 of which was the night before he was murdered, and was in position to collect $1 million from McLaughlin's life insurance policy if he passed away. 15 years would pass.
Trial taking place, a long time coming, taking place more than 16 years after the murder of the Newport Beach millionaire. Resident Ann Johnston, arrested in 2009 after a cold case investigation, was reopened.
Opening statements in the murder trial of Eric Naposki, accused of being the hitman of an Orange County millionaire for his money on December 17, 1994.
Prosecutors say Naposki plotted to kill William McLaughlin nearly 17 years ago for money.
McLaughlin's live-in mistress, Nanette Johnston, and her ex-NFL boyfriend, Eric Naposki, say prosecutors killed McLaughlin for his money. That was 17 years ago. Investigators say that Johnston and Naposki were always considered suspects, but they couldn't recover the gun and link them to the crime. 3 years ago, the Orange County District Attorney's Office reopened the case and looked at old evidence. If convicted, Johnston faces life in prison.
I need to prepare you for one thing. The chance of me committing this crime is zero. I've never even met or been in McLaughlin's home. I was not in Newport when Bill was shot, nor did I have any real reason to kill him. As we share more info, you will have a much better idea of my innocence, and a much better idea of why and how I ended up here. Look me in the eye. I swear on my children's lives that I didn't shoot anyone. Absolutely, positively not. In 2009, the case of Ben McLaughlin's murder was reopened. The detectives believed Naposki had no idea McLaughlin was more than a friend to Nanette Johnston, and after being told by her that he had sexually assaulted her is when the plan was carried out. The couple had even been shopping for houses months before the murder. Naposki's interrogations had been laced with constant contradictions, lying about the nature of his and Nanette's relationship. But perhaps the most damning piece of evidence was the existence of a previously unmentioned weapon.
You go to the Army? No, I don't do any army. I don't even have a sidearm.
Okay, you said you don't own any firearms at all?
No, I bought one. I haven't seen it so long.
Where is your 9mm?
I have no idea.
You have no idea?
That's my statement.
On July 14th, 2011, an Orange County jury found Naposki guilty of first-degree murder. In January 2012, an Orange County jury found Johnston guilty of first-degree murder. Both received life imprisonment without the possibility of parole.
Oh my God.
911 emergency, Roswell 18841. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
There was an accident here on Rainbow and Spring Valley Parkway. The car's on fire, and the kids are trying to get people to stop to help.
And you said the vehicle is on fire, correct?
It's on fire, yeah. Oh my God, they can't get no one to help. The whole thing's on fire.
Okay, so it's two vehicles that you saw in the accident?
Yes.
The vehicle that's on fire.
I have no idea what it is. All I see is flames.
The judge in the case says he has never heard of a car crash involving so much speed.
Ruggs was driving at 156 miles per hour.
This is what driving at 156 miles per hour looks like.
I was told right about 2.5 seconds after he passes by, you hear screeching and then a loud bang.
Wow. Says the impact launched both cars over 500 feet down the road, causing the Toyota to catch fire. with a blood alcohol level twice Nevada's legal limit.
Witnesses heard screams coming from that car but couldn't reach the driver because of the flames. That driver, 23-year-old Tina Tinter, and her dog, both killed in the fire.
Tonight, football player Henry Ruggs III wheeled into court to face justice. The wide receiver fired from the Las Vegas Raiders wearing a neck brace, charged with multiple felony counts, including a DUI and the fatal high-speed crash.
Conviction on the pending charges could mean up to 46 years in prison.
There are many first evers that are part of this draft, including the first ever official draft selection by the Las Vegas Raiders. And I've got it right here. So with the 12th pick of the 2020 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Henry Ruggs, wide receiver, Alabama.
Henry Ruggs is a fascinating football player. Just so you know, he had 98 catches at Alabama. 24 of them went for touchdowns.
Big plays, touchdown. He's right at home with that. That's why he's wearing his robes. He's making a statement early, and the Raiders hope that he can make that statement late when he gets on the football field. There was no Super Bowl hangover because the offseason was so unusual. Carr airs it out. Separation. Pulled in. Henry Ruggs. The speed. Touchdown.
Drafted 12th overall in the 2020 NFL Draft, Henry Ruggs was destined to become an NFL superstar. And recording a vertical jump of 42 inches. Ruggs' speed alone helps both the running and passing games because it forces safeties into more passive positioning. He can work on all three levels, and his ability to turn slants and crossing routes into big gainers can make him the favorite gift under the tree for a quarterback. He won't rack up the targets, but has explosive speed and talent to imprint on games with regularity. Ruggs had trouble finding his footing in his rookie year. His sophomore year was one of drastic improvement, and in just 7 games, Ruggs would have 469 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. But all that would come to a screeching halt.
It is caught. Henry Ruggs is gone. Touchdown Raiders. Sprinter speed. Just throw it up there if you're Derek Carr and let Ruggs go and get it.
All I see is flames.
All right,
I think someone's in it.
Ruggs left the driving range in his souped-up Corvette. At 3:40 a.m., he slammed into the rear of the victim's Toyota.
Witnesses heard screams coming from that car but couldn't reach the driver because of the flames.
There are new details this morning in the deadly crash involving former Raiders receiver Henry Ruggs. In court today, police revealed Ruggs was driving at a speed of 156 miles per hour.
We are following developing news out of Las Vegas, where Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs is now facing felony DUI charges after a fiery crash left at least one person dead.
At 3:39 a.m., Ruggs was driving approximately 156 miles per hour down a residential street when he saw the Toyota in front of him and attempted to brake, but it was far too late.
They're coming right now.
He is not that fast!
Ruggs hit the car at 124 miles per hour, causing the Toyota to burst into flames. Harrowing screams rose above the flames as passers-by attempted to rescue the woman from the fiery inferno, but it was too late. Trapped inside the car were 23-year-old Tina Tintor and her 3-year-old dog. Both would be burned to death. Ruggs' blood alcohol level was twice the legal limit and was charged with driving under the influence, resulting in death, and reckless driving. Within 24 hours, he would be released by the Las Vegas Raiders. And on May 10, 2023, as part of a plea agreement, Ruggs pleaded guilty to 1 count of DUI resulting in death and 1 count of misdemeanor vehicular manslaughter. He is expected to serve a sentence of 3 to 10 years in a Nevada state prison. After every touchdown, Ruggs held up the number 3 in honor of his late friend, Roderick Scott.
In every school, every game.
3 was his number on the high school basketball team. Scott, the man who encouraged Ruggs to play football, died at the age of 17 in a car crash.
I've been shot. You've been shot? Where are you at, man? I'm 8 months pregnant.
Carolina Panther Rae Carruth has been arrested and charged on 3 charges in connection with the shooting of his pregnant girlfriend, Sharika Adams.
The world watched as the star Carolina Panthers wide receiver morphed from a person people wanted to be
2 more days, I think I'll be fine.
into one they hated.
Federal agents arrested a somber Rae Carruth in western Tennessee after what could be the greatest fumble of his career.
The ultimate fall from grace.
I hope the dies.
That's the I was talking about.
Oh, I see.
Rae Carruth.
For conspiring to kill Sharika Adams, the mother of Carruth's unborn child.
Shot 4 times in an allegedly pathetic scheme.
This stupid motherfucker, man, got me in this bull.
We, the jury, returned a unanimous verdict as follows: that the defendant, Rae Lamar Carruth, is
like perhaps a Mike Logan, somebody like that, a true strong safety who one day could move in for a guy like Brett Maxey. We'll find out in a moment. Pick is up. The highest rated guy.
With the 27th pick in the first round, the Carolina Panthers select Rae Carruth, wide receiver from the University of Colorado.
Drafted with the 27th pick in the 1997 NFL Draft, Rae Carruth had shown tremendous promise during his years at Colorado and was named a first-team All-American in 1996. In Carruth's first year in the NFL, he would be named to the All-Rookie team, amassing 545 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. Carruth would last a mere 3 seasons in the NFL, ending abruptly in 1999.
I'm 8 months pregnant.
How'd this happen?
I was following my baby daddy, Rae Carruth, the football player.
Where's he at?
He was in the car in front of me, and he slowed down, and somebody pulled up beside me and did this.
And then where'd he go?
He did laugh. I think he did it. I don't know what to think of.
Sharika Adams was driving home from a night out with her boyfriend, Rae Carruth. They had decided to take separate cars since Carruth wanted to spend the night with Adams. Adams was 8 months pregnant with Carruth's child, and while initially causing disagreement on whether they should keep the child, Adams was adamant that she wanted to keep it, and believed Carruth was starting to feel the same way. Then, all of a sudden, Carruth, driving in front of Adams, slammed on his brakes. A car then pulled up alongside Adams and fired 6 rounds, hitting Adams 4 times. Adams was rushed to the hospital, where she fell into a coma. Doctors were forced to perform an emergency cesarean section to retrieve the unborn child, and miraculously, he survived. But after spending nearly 70 minutes without oxygen, the child incurred brain damage and developed cerebral palsy. Carruth turned himself in to police and posted a $3 million bail on the condition that if the child or Adams died, he would turn himself in. Carruth had fled. A man who was once a promising NFL receiver, making nearly $40,000 a week, was now packed in the trunk of a friend's car, desperately trying to escape his fate.
They were operating on a tip they got from the woman he was traveling with, according to police. And there they found the multi-million-dollar wide receiver hiding in the trunk of a car.
Tips were received, and Carruth was soon located in Tennessee. When found, Carruth was found in the fetal position in his friend's trunk, with $3,900 in cash, bottles of his own urine, candy bars, a cell phone, and extra clothes. Carruth was suspended indefinitely from the NFL.
For the touchdown.
A judge hands down the sentence in the trial of Rae Carruth.
Carruth had hired a hitman, Van Brett Watkins Sr., his then bodyguard, to kill his girlfriend, Cherika Adams.
I'm 286 pounds. Okay, I would rip you like a rag doll.
After failing to abort the child, Carruth saw this as his only recourse, leading to his downfall. Rae Carruth was sentenced to 18 years and 11 months to 24 years and 4 months in prison. Found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, shooting into an occupied vehicle, and using an instrument to destroy an unborn child. Van Brett Watkins Sr. was sentenced to prison for a minimum of 40 years, 8 months, and a maximum of 50 years, 8 months for the murder of Cherika Adams. Carruth and Adams' son, Chancellor Lee Adams, lives on, continuing to defy the odds. With the love and support of his grandma, Sandra Adams, Chancellor feels he can accomplish anything. He has forgiven his father and hopes they can one day meet. Chancellor Lee Adams graduated high school in 2021. Hey guys, I sincerely appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. Launching a Patreon very soon that will contain all my uncensored documentaries. Right now, since YouTube is really cracking down on what's allowed on the platform, a lot of the things I'd like to include in the documentary I unfortunately have to take out. I know a lot of you guys really like seeing, the whole story. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Also, make sure to comment down below who should be included in the next NFL Most Wanted video. Thanks again, and I hope I see you in the next video.